Papa love baby. My mother was a romantic girl, so she had to marry a man with his hair in curl, who subsequently became my unrespected papa. But that was a long time ago now. What folly it is that daughters are always supposed to be in love with papa. It wasn't the case with me. I couldn't take to him at all, but he took to me. What a sad fate to befall a child of 3. I sat upright in my baby carriage and wished Mamma hadn't made such a foolish marriage. I tried to hide it, but it showed in my eyes, unfortunately, and a fortnight later Papa ran away to sea. He used to come home on leave. It was always the same. I could not grieve, but I think I was somewhat to blame. Progression. I fell in love with Major Spruce and never gave a sign, the sweetest major in the force and only 39. It is Major Spruce, and he's grown such a bore, such a bore. I used to think I was in love with him. Well, I don't think so any more. It was the Major Spruce. He died. Didn't I tell you? He was the last of the Spruces, and about time too. The Songster. Miss Pauncefort sang at the top of her voice, "Sing tirry, lirry, lirry down the lane," and nobody knew what she sang about. Sing tirry, lirry, lirry all the same. Infant. It was a cynical babe lay in its mother's arms, born 2 months too soon after many alarms. Why is its mother sad, weeping without a friend? Where is its father, say? He tarries in Ostend. It was a cynical babe. Reader, before you condemn, pause. It was a cynical babe, not without cause. From the County Lunatic Asylum. The people say that Spiritism is a joke and a swizz, the Church that it is dangerous. Not half it is. The River Deben. All the waters of the River Deben go over my head to the last wave even. Such a death was sweet to 7 times 7. Death sits in the boat with me. His face is shrouded, but he smiles, I see. The time is not yet. He will not come so readily. But he smiles, and I smile. It is pleasant in the boat at night. There is no moon rising, but from the east a light shines in the sky. Is it dawn or dawn's twilight? Over here the waters are dark as a deep chasm, shadowed by cliffs of volcanic spasm. So dark is the wave's fashion. But the oars dip. I am rowing. They dip and scatter the phosphorescence in a sudden spatter of light that is more actual than a piece of matter. Up the Deben we row. I row towards Waldring Field. It is a long way yet. My arms ache, but will not yield. In this physical tiredness there is a happy shield. Oh, happy Deben, oh, happy night, and night's companion death. What exultation, what ecstasy is in thy breath! It is as salt as the salt silt that lies beneath. Flow, tidal river, flow, draw wind from the east. Smile, pleasant death, smile death in darkness blessed. But tarry day upon the crack of dawn. Thou comest unwished. The reason. My life is vile, I hate it so. I'll wait a while, and then I'll go. Why wait at all? Hope springs alive. Good may befall, I yet may thrive. It is because I can't make up my mind if God is good, impotent, or unkind. Sunt Leones. The lions who ate the Christians on the sands of the arena, by indulging native appetites, played what has now been seen a not entirely negligible part in consolidating at the very start the position of the early Christian Church. Initiatory rites are always bloody, and the lions, it appears from contemporary art, made a study of dyeing Colosseum sands a ruddy, liturgically sacrificial hue. And if the Christians felt a little blue, well, people being eaten often do. Theirs was the death, and theirs the crown undying, a state of things which must be satisfying. My point, which up to this has been obscured, is that it was the lions who procured, by chewing up blood, gristle, flesh, and bone, the martyrdoms on which the Church has grown. I only write this poem because I thought it rather looked as if the part the lions played was being overlooked. By lions' jaws great benefits and blessings were begotten, and so our debt to lionhood must never be forgotten. Nobody knows what I feel about Freddie. I cannot make anyone understand. I love him sub specie aeternitatis. I love him out of hand. I don't love him so much in the restaurants, that's a fact. To get him hobnob with my old pub chums needs too much tact. He don't love them, and they don't love him. In the pub lub lights they say Freddie very dim. But get him alone on the open saltings where the sea licks up to the fen. He is his and my own heart's best, world without end, ahem. People who say we ought to get married ought to get smacked. Why should we do it when we can't afford it and have ourselves whacked? Thank you, kind friends and relations, thank you. We do very well as we do. Oh, what do I care for the pub-lub lights and the friends I love so well? There's more in the way I feel about Freddie than a friend can tell. But all the same, I don't care much for his milieu. I mean, I don't animate Mitch in the ha-ha, well-off suburban scene, where men are few and hearts go tumpety-tum. In the tennis club lub lights, poet, very dumb. But there never was a boy like Freddie for the haystack's ivory tower of bliss, where speaking sub specie humanitatis, Freddie and me can kiss. Exiled from his milieu, exiled from mine, there's all Tom Tiddler's time pocket for his love and mine. This Englishwoman is so refined she has no bosom and no behind. Tender only to one, tender only to one, tender and true, the petals swing to my fingering, is it you or you or you? Tender only to one, I do not know his name, and the friends who fall to the petals' call may think my love to blame. Tender only to one, this petal holds a clue, the face it shows but too well knows who I am tender to. Tender only to one, last petal's latest breath cries out aloud from the icy shroud his name is death. The Bishops of the Church of England. I admire the bishops of the Church of England. No man can be a bishop of the Church of England and a fool. A man can be a bishop of the Church of England and a knave, but fortunately few, if any, of the bishops of the Church of England are men of ill will. They do their best to resolve wisely, to govern effectively. They are the butt of the ignoramus, of the sentimentalist, of the man who makes of his own bad temper and incompetency a movement for the amelioration of the sufferings of the oppressed members of the lower middle classes. One of many. You are only one of many, and of small account if any. You think about yourself too much. This touched the child with a quick touch, and worked his mind to such a pitch he threw his fellows in a ditch. This little child that was so mild is grown too wild. "Murder in the first degree," cried Old Fury, recording the verdict of the jury. Now they are come to the execution tree, the gallows stand wide. Ah me, ah me. "Christ died for sinners," intoned the prison chaplain from his miscellany. Weeping bitterly the little child cries, "I die one of many." The boat. The boat that took my love away he sent again to me, to tell me that he should not sleep alone beneath the sea. The flower and fruit of love are mine, the ant, the field mouse, and the mole. But now a tiger prowls without, and claws upon my soul. Love is not love that wounded bleeds, and bleeding sullies slow. Come death within my hands, and I unto my love will go. In Felice. Walking swiftly with the dreadful Duchess, he smiled too briefly. His face was as pale as sand. He jumped into a taxi when he saw me coming, leaving me alone with a private meaning. He loves me so much my heart is singing. Later, at the club, when I rang him in the evening, they said, "Sir Rat is dining, is dining, is dining. No, madam, he left no message." Ah, how his silence speaks. He loves me too much for words. My heart is singing. The Pullman seats are here. The tickets for Paris. I am waiting. Presently the telephone rings. It is his valet speaking. "Sir Rat is called away to Scotland, his constituents." Ah, the dreadful Duchess, but he loves me best. Best pleasure to the last. My heart is singing. One night he came. It was 4 in the morning. Walking slowly upstairs, he stands beside my bed. "Dear darling, lie beside me. It is too cold to stand speaking." He lies down beside me. His face is like the sand. He is in a sleep of love. My heart is singing. Sleeping softly, softly. In the morning I must wake him. And waking he murmurs, "I only came to sleep." The words are so sweetly cruel. How deeply he loves me. I say them to myself alone. My heart is singing. Now the sunshine strengthens. It is 10 in the morning. He is so timid in love. He only needs to know. He is my little child. How can he come if I do not call him? I will write and tell him everything. I take the pen and write. I love you so much, my heart is singing. Murderer. My true love breathed her latest breath, and I have closed her eyes in death. It was a cold and windy day in March when my love went away. She was not like other girls, rather diffident, and that is how we had an accident. How slowly time lengthens. How slowly time lengthens from a hated event. In my youth, I was humiliated in a guilty association. Insinuator, flatterer, board of trade surveyor, hypocrite. Aha, Hildreth Parker, how have the years dealt with you? La Gretchen de nos jours 1. Would he might come again, and I upon his breast again might lie. Would I had not in foolish wrath driven him ever from my path. Would that the sun, his day's course over, might that same day's lost dawn recover. As vain as this, vain prayer are all vain prayers that would past days recall. Never shall sun now sunk away rise up again on yesterday. Never shall love, untimely slain, rise from the grave and live again. La Gretchen de nos jours, 2. O Queen of Heaven, have pity on me, my heart is bared for you to see. Forgive, forgive the heart that lies in anguish bared before your eyes. Mother of God, behold my heart, its sin and stain, its bitter smart. In pity turn your pitying gaze upon my heart, and its hopes raise. Quite to the ground, for there are yet some hopes that are too highly set. O lop each hope, and lay it low, and quench the fire of my heart's glow. For still I hope he may return, and while I hope, still must I burn, all with desire that waits on hope, as doth the hangman on the rope. Hope and desire all unfulfilled have more than rope and hangman killed. Murder. Farewell forever, well forever fair, the soul whose body lies beneath this stone. 'Tis easy said by one who had a care, soul should doff flesh, that has another tone. My hand brought Filmer Smith to this strait bed. Well, fare his soul well, fear not I the dead. Girls. Girls. Although I am a woman, I always try to appear human, unlike Miss So-and-so, whose greatest pride is to remain always in the sixth form and not let down the side. Do not sell the past, dear, don't let down the side. That is what this woman said, and a lot of ballsy stuff beside. Ugh, the awful ballsy nonsense that this woman cried. Girls, I will let down the side if I get a chance, and I will sell the pass for a couple of pence. Conviction 1. Christ died for God and me upon the crucifixion tree. For God a spoken word, for me a sword. For God a hymn of praise, for me eternal days. For God an explanation, for me salvation. Conviction 2. I walked abroad in Easter Park. I heard the wild dog's distant bark. I knew my Lord was risen again. Wild dog, you bark in vain. Conviction 3. The shadow was so black, I thought it was a cat. But once into it, I knew it, no more black than a shadow's back. Illusion is a freak of mind, the cat's to seek. Conviction 4. I like to get off with people. I like to lie in their arms. I like to be held and tightly kissed, safe from all alarms. I like to laugh and be happy with a beautiful, beautiful kiss. I tell you, in all the world there is no bliss like this. Christmas. A child is born, they cry, a child, and he is noble and not mild. It is the child that makes them wild. The king sits brooding on his throne. He looks around and calls a man. My men, bring me a heavy stone. My men, bring me a purple robe, and bring me whips and iron goad. They brought them to him where he strode. My men, bring gold and bring incense, and fetch all noble children at once, that I shall never take offence. The men fetched the noble children away. They lifted them up and cried, Hooray! The king sat back and clapped their play. All noble mild children are brought home to the wicked king who has cast them down and ground their bones on the heavy stone. But the child that is noble and not mild, he lies in his cot, he is unbeguiled. He is noble, he is not mild, and he is born to make men wild. The Castle. I married the Earl of Egremont. I never saw him by day. I had him in bed at night and cuddled him tight. We had 2 boys, twins, Tommy and Roly. Roly was so fat, we called him Roly-Poly. Oh, that was a romantic time. The castle had such a lonely look. The estate, heavy with cockle and spurge, lay desolate. The ocean waves lapped in the castle caves. Oh, I love the ramshackle castle and the room where our sons were born. Oh, I love the wild parkland, the mild sunshine. Underneath the wall sleeps our pet toad. There the hollyhocks grow tall. My children never saw their father, do not know he sleeps in my arms each night till cockcrow. Oh, I love the ramshackle castle and the turret room where our sons were born. Harold's Leap. Harold, are you asleep? Harold, I remember your leap. It may have killed you, but it was a brave thing to do. 2 promontories ran high into the sky. He leapt from one rock to the other, and fell to the sea's smother. Harold was always afraid to climb high, but something urged him on. He felt he should try. I would not say that he was wrong, although he succeeded in doing nothing but die. Would you? Ever after that steep place was called Harold's Leap. It was a brave thing to do. The River God. I may be smelly and I may be old, rough in my pebbles, reedy in my pools, but where my fish float by, I bless their swimming, and I like the people to bathe in me, especially women. But I can drown the fools who bathe too close to the weir, contrary to rules, and they take a long time drowning, as I throw them up now and then in a spirit of clowning. Hi-yi, yippity-yap, merrily I flow. Oh, I may be an old foul river, but I have plenty of go. Once there was a lady who was too bold. She bathed in me by the tall black cliff where the water runs cold. So I brought her down here to be my beautiful dear. Oh, will she stay with me, will she stay, this beautiful lady, or will she go away? She lies in my beautiful deep river bed with many a weed to hold her, and many a waving reed. Oh, who would guess what a beautiful white face lies there, waiting for me to smooth and wash away the fear she looks at me with. Hi-yi, do not let her go. There is no one on earth who does not forget her now. They say I am a foolish old smelly river, but they do not know of my wide original bed, where the lady waits with her golden sleepy head. If she wishes to go, I will not forgive her. Do take Muriel out. Do take Muriel out. She is looking so glum. Do take Muriel out. All her friends have gone. And after too much pressure, looking for them in the palace, she goes home to too much leisure, and this is what her life is. All her friends are gone, and she is alone. and she looks for them where they have never been, and her peace is flown. Her friends went into the forest and across the river, and the desert took their footprints, and they went with a believer. Ah, they are gone, they were so beautiful, and she cannot come to them, and she kneels in her room at night, crying, Amen. Do take Muriel out, although your name is Death. She will not complain when you dance her over the blasted heath. Our office cat. Our office cat is a happy cat. She has had 200 kittens, and every one has been adopted into happy homes by our cat-loving Britons. The Celtic Fringe. Kathleen the Houlihan, walking down the Boulagan, ran into a hooligan. Aha, Kathleen the Houlihan! She went with the ratty-can, and very soon they had a bratty-can. Aha, Kathleen the Houlihan, how goes it now? They called him Rebel-can. Oh, he was a devil-can, Kathleen the Houlihan, your son. And the big black catty-can that sat on the matty-can, with a pit and a patty-can, spit, spat, was the chief sport of the Houlihan sort, and chiefly did Rebel-can twitch his tail, the devil-can. All up the Boulagan runs Kathleen the Houlihan. For flirting his tail the cat is gone. They are alone. And that is how the Houlihan fell out in the Boulagan. Whose tail shall they twitch now? Kathleen, the cat is gone. Not waving, but drowning. Nobody heard him, the dead man, but still he lay moaning. I was much further out than you thought, and not waving, but drowning. Poor chap, he always loved larking, and now he's dead. It must have been too cold for him, his heart gave way, they said. Oh, no, 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 it was too cold always, still the dead one lay moaning. I was much too far out all my life, and not waving, but drowning.